So far, we have learned about the basics of Node.js and how we can use it to create a simple server and send responses based on different URLs. Now in this lecture, let's dive a bit deeper into the working of Node.js and let's try to understand an important concept, the event-driven architecture of Node.js. In the very beginning of this course, we learned that Node.js uses event-driven architecture. But what does it actually mean? Well, the concept is actually quite simple. In an event-driven architecture, we have three main players: the event emitter, event listener, and event handler. An event emitter emits named events when something important happens in the app. For example, a request hitting the server, or a timer expiring, or a file finishing to read. All of these emit events. And whoever is responsible for emitting these events is called as event emitter. When an event is emitted or raised, the event can be picked up by event listeners. So basically, an event listener is going to listen, or we can say that it is going to wait for an event to happen. These event listeners will then fire up the callback function attached to that event listener when that event happens. So this callback function here is called as event handler. So here, on one hand we have event emitters, and on the other hand we have event listeners that will react to emitted events by calling the event handler function. Most of the Node.js core modules like HTTP or file system and timers, they're all built around an event-driven architecture. And we can also use this architecture to our advantage in our own code. Let's understand event-driven architecture in Node.js with a simple example. Let's understand how Node uses event-driven architecture to handle server requests in the HTTP module. When we want to create a server, we use the create server method on the HTTP object like we are doing here. And then we are assigning it to a variable called server. Now this implementation, what you see here, it is a bit different than what we did before, but it works exactly the same way. Now, whenever a new request will hit this server, the server is going to emit a named event called request. So here, request is the named event and the server is the event emitter. Because here, the server is the one which is going to emit the request event. Now, when this named event is emitted, we can listen to that named event using on method like we are doing here. So here, we are using this on method on this server. So just now we learned that this server is the one which is going to emit the request event. And on this server, we are using this on method to listen to that event. And to this on method, the first parameter which we are passing here is basically the event which we want to listen to. So since this on method here is waiting for the request event to happen, it is listening for the request event, this on method here is the event listener. And to this on method, as the second argument, we are also passing a callback function. And this callback function will be executed whenever this request event will happen. So basically this callback function is going to handle the request event by executing some logic. So in this case, this callback function here is the event handler function. So I hope with this example, what is event emitter, what is event listener, and what is event handler, that is clear to you. Now let's see this example in practice. So let's go back to VS Code. And here we are creating a server using this create server method. And to this create server method, we are also passing a callback function. Now, instead of doing it like this, let's say we want to use the event-driven approach. So for that, what I'm going to do is I am again going to create a server. For that, I will create a variable. I'll call it server. And to that, on this HTTP object, we have the create server method. We are going to call that. So this create server method is basically going to create a server. And if you notice, to this create server, I'm not passing any callback function. So the server has been created. And on this server, we are also calling this listen method to start the server. Now, whenever a new request will hit this server object here is going to emit a request event. And we can listen to that request event using the on method. So on this server object, we can use this on method. So this on method is going to be our event listener. And to this on method, as the first argument, we need to specify which event do we want to listen to. Here, we want to listen to the request event. And as the second argument, we can pass an event handler. So basically here we can pass a callback function which will be executed whenever this request event will happen, whenever this server will raise this request event. Okay. And this callback function is also going to receive some arguments. So basically, when this server will raise this request event, With that request event, it will also pass the request and response object to this event handler function. So for this event handler function, we are going to receive the request object and the response object. And the rest of the things are going to be same. So inside this callback function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this logic which we are writing inside the callback function which we are passing to this create server. So basically I will copy this logic and I'll go ahead and I will paste it inside this event handler callback function. And now I can go ahead and I can comment this create server method. So I will select it and I will comment it. With this, let's save the changes. Let's stop and restart the server and let's go to our application. And if I refresh the page, our application should still be working. If I go to the products page, the products are displayed properly. If I go to about page, here we are in the about page. If I go to contact page, so the contact page is also displayed. So our application is working as expected, but the only change which we have done here is instead of passing a callback function to this create server, we are listening to the request event whenever a new request hits this server. And then we are handling that request by executing this event handler function. Now remember that here we are able to listen to events on the server object because behind the scenes, the server object is actually an instance of Node.js event emitter class. That means this server object inherits all the event emitting and listening logic from the event emitter class. So keep in mind that the server object inherits from event emitter class. And in this way, whichever object in Node.js inherits from this event emitter class, on that object we can emit and listen to the events. Now this event emitting and listening logic is called as observer pattern in JavaScript programming in general, and it is quite a popular pattern with many use cases. So the idea is that there is an observer, in this case the event listener, which keeps waiting, keeps observing the subject that will eventually emit the event that the listener is waiting for. The subject here is the event emitter. And the opposite of this pattern is simply the function calling other function, which is something which we are more used to actually. So basically this pattern where we are passing a callback function to this create server method. But the observer pattern has been designed to react rather than to call. And that is because there is a huge benefit of using this architecture, which is the fact that everything is more decoupled. For example, we don't have functions from the file system module calling functions from the HTTP module because then that would be a huge mess. Instead, these modules are nicely decoupled and self-contained. Each emitting event that other functions, even if they come from other modules, can respond to. Also, using an event-driven architecture makes it way more straightforward to react multiple times to the same event. All we have to do is to set up multiple listeners. So in this lecture, we learned what is an event-driven architecture and how it is used in Node.js. Now the question is, can we use this pattern, this event-driven architecture, to listen to custom events? For example, let's say from our app, we want to create a new user. And when that new user is created, we want to raise a custom event, let's say user created event, and we want to react to that event from our Node app. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible, and let's actually understand how we can do that in our next lecture. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.